I'm at the end of my career now. That's one of the give backs that I really want to help. You know, could I do it on my own? No, but what Arbinger has given me is a language that can be a foundation. So as attorneys and people in our profession, we can talk to each other, and it gives us a language and a foundation to build upon, to restore more of this civility and make the practice of law and make our lives in the practice of law less stressful, more enjoyable. And for me, doing that is really a lot of fun. I mean, I'm just starting. Like I said, I've only been retired for less than 2 months, but we've already launched this program, and it was exciting and it was fun. And the feedback that I've gotten from the attorneys that attended was very, very positive. That it you know, very thoughtful, and looks like it's going to make a difference in how they practice law. When I taught this seminar, part of what I do is really talk about what law is to me is the ability to civilly resolve conflict in society so that we can live as a civil society. We can live, you know, I explained that, you know, the precursor to the legal system we have now, where the rule of law is really the basis for doing it. And the rule of law says that we're all going to abide by the law, and we're going to do it in a civil way because we want a civil resolution of conflict. We want a civil resolution of disputes. But the fundamental part of that is it has to be civil. And before we did this, we had trial by battle, we had trial by ordeal, we had wars. You know, that's how we resolve things, in very uncivil manner. And it wasn't a good way for civilization. It wasn't a good way for people to live together. And so for me, what the law is a way to civilly do that so we can enjoy society. We can enjoy each other in society. We can have a community of sort of one heart. We can have a community where people can have diverse views. They can have differences, but they can live together in harmony. And the foundation for that is our legal system and our laws. If that breaks down, you know, are we going to have the ability to live in harmony? You look at just even some of the political movements that have recently happened, you know, on both sides. It's getting less and less civil. It's getting more vocal. But it's also, the rhetoric is going up. And so what are we doing? We're dividing our communities. You're either here or you're here. And if you're here, that means we can't talk. We can't have a dialogue. We can't have a common dialogue. We can't solve our problems. And like a lot of civilizations and early systems, if that happens, if the ability to handle this in a civil way, the ability to have public discourse, the ability to resolve disputes, if we lose the ability and the trust to do that, then the foundation for our government, our constitution, our way of life goes with it. There's a book that the Arbinger Institute wrote called The Anatomy of Peace. If any of you haven't read it, I would recommend you read it, because it gets to this core foundational principle of whatever we do, whatever our differences are, whatever our views are, wherever we're coming from, all of us are part of humanity. And all of us owe it to each other to give each other the respect, to see each other as we are, as people with the same fears, the same concerns, and the same rights that we have. And so for me, that's foundationally what the law is to ensure that we all have those equal rights and those equal opportunities. I've had kind of a unique opportunity in the law. I didn't have just one job in the law. I spent some time, you know, being a litigator and trial attorney and sort of enforcing it hard that you do through the courts. And then I went to the legislature and looked at it more global, of writing the laws and trying to solve problems, and realizing that that's not the solution. I was in the governor's office, I was in private practice, and then a judge. And I think what it's done for me more than anything else is when I see even conflicts with branches of government, then there's supposed to be tension. A lot of it is because they only see things from their point of view, and they're not willing to look at somebody else's point of view. For some reason, we've lost the ability to do that. And so That's one of the most important things that I think that we need a language, we need a forum, we need an ability to have that public discourse again, to have it in a way that is peaceful. I know with Kim, with reading her book and going through, I mean, that's what she's exploring, that transition. We started out from trial by battle, and then we went to litigation, sort of the win-lose philosophy. You know, maybe as a society, if we're going to make it, we need to evolve into the next level of, you know, can we have win-win disputes, or closer to win-win? Does it always have to be win-lose? You know, are there a lot of the conflicts that we have, even in our legal system, where we can evolve that into situations where both parties, as a judge, sadly, a lot of times when I did divorces, you knew you probably did a pretty good job if both parties left mad at you. But that's what the adversarial system breeds, is that they both come in, they both think they're right, and when they both don't get all they want, they walk away upset and mad at the system, and they think the system has failed them. You know, and so as a judge, what I started doing a lot more, particularly in the domestic area, is saying, okay, before I'm going to try your case, I'm going to mediate it with you, because I'm going to help you. So instead of you leaving here upset, because you're upset about it, let's see if we can resolve this and go through and come up, so when you leave, you've participated in this in a way that you can't participate in an adversarial system, and maybe we can reach a resolution. And so as a judge, I started doing more and more, and it's very interesting. When I first became a judge, I would probably do 24 to 36 jury trials a year. My last 5 years as a judge, I would only do 1 or 2 jury trials a year. I mean, there has been a movement and an evolution to change the law, the way that we resolve disputes. I mean, it's been quiet, but when you really talk to people that are there, we're moving more and more to dispute resolution, where we use some type of alternate dispute resolution, mediation, arbitration, although more mediation, I think, than even arbitration, where we're doing it, and it's changing the face of the law, and it's changing the skill set that I think attorneys need. You know, one of the things that I've gone down and talked to a couple law schools, and I've talked to the deans and programs, and you know, as a judge, one of the things I've tried to tell them is that, you know, a lot of the traditional skill sets that you had to be a trial attorney or to be an advocate, those are skills that, yeah, you still need to teach, but you need to add skills. You need to add skills to teach people to be negotiators and mediators, and skills of working with each other in resolution, because when they get out in the real world, even if you're a litigator, most of your time is spent in negotiating and trying to find a resolution to it. And so I think it's important that we change. I think if you read a lot of some things that have happened, I think you look at the law profession itself. I think right now more than 50% of the law school enrollment are women in law schools right now. I think it's about 52, 53%, something like that. I know it's over half. And is there a little different view to resolving disputes? Yes. I mean, I think that there's been kind of a little more peaceful movement brought with that. I think also that we have just a change in the people. I know, talking with Kim, this whole pro se as a judge. When I first became a judge, every single divorce was handled with an attorney. This last year, probably well in excess of 50% of the divorces I sign, an attorney doesn't represent either side. You know, and you know, why? Why is that happening? You know, there's some very good reasons, but the law is changing. How people deal with the law is changing, and as attorneys and as law schools that teach attorneys, I'm not sure we're moving as fast as the rest of the world is moving with us.